All right, I just wanted to finish the people piece in here, and I think that's it. Yep. This is about, so this is from Neil Johnson, who's a friend of ours. He's now at George Washington, I believe, right? And this is looking at, we'll come back to this later on when we look at learning rates for how you do things, right? So there's old studies of building planes, for example, or Moore's law fits into this as well, right? So how we get better at making stuff with time. And so that seems to apply to, in this case, terrorist attacks, right? So this is the gap between distinct events. These are fatal attacks. Often early on this work was about IEDs in Afghanistan and Iraq. And so they tend to compress, right? Because in a sense, people are getting better at building these things. But it's, and you can see this is actually comparing many, many different places to look at this scaling. And Neil's work eventually led to sort of this kind of ecology of war idea, and so you could see, you know, whether a civil war perhaps was changing from something, or an asymmetric war, I guess, was changing from something where, you know, the blue was dominating the red or the other way around, right, depending on how you want to frame things. Okay, so scaling in there as well. It's a funny kind of scaling, but this is, the number of events here and the time between them has this negative scaling, and that exponent gives you a measure of like how fast are things accelerating. Right. Okay, so this is just a little bit more about people. It's just a touch of what's possible in all of this. You know, I'm giving you a survey, and I'm trying to sort of impart that these things are everywhere, and it's often for systems we talk about the main thing to start with, right? Is to think about you know, how these systems, you know, change over many orders of magnitude.